We are at the hospital.
About to have this baby.
About to have Luna. And I am so ready and in so much pain when the contractions come, which are very close together.
Let noodle.
Oh my God.
Let noodle.
Oh.
Relax. Stop pushing. Breathe.
Oh my God. Sweet baby Jesus. Oh. Oh my God.
Like a G. Like a G.
My experience was fast. Alright, so I wake up on September 11th, which is a terrible day in American history. So, I'm feeling weird like most people do on September 11th, and I'm thinking about 5th grade me and how uncomfortable that day was despite being, I wasn't so young. I remember everything about that day. But so yeah, I'm feeling those feelings. And I have a doctor's appointment that day. So I get up, I get ready for my doctor's appointment. I go to my appointment, and I was wondering if he was going to check my cervix that day. I was like 38 weeks and 5 days. And he had checked my cervix at 36 weeks, and I wasn't dilated, but my cervix was softened. So I don't know, I was just feeling like she was gonna make her appearance soon. So when I got there, they were like, do you want us to check your cervix? And I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So he did. It was extremely uncomfortable. I was not expecting it to be as uncomfortable as it was. And I mean, he's doing all of this, and it's like chill, like it's a lot. But yeah, he's like, you're 1 centimeter dilated. So I'm like excited. I was trying to like convince Luna to wait so she could be a Libra. She didn't want to be a Libra. But she was ready to come, and I don't know, I just kind of felt like I was ready for her to come. I felt like she was ready to come. Yeah, he checked my cervix, and I was 1 centimeter dilated and like 50% effaced and like -1. I learned that day what that meant. That meant her head was coming. It was coming down, which I already knew because I could feel it. My pelvis was hurting really bad. Yes. Someone's hungry and she does not like to wait. We're feeding with the syringe until we latch. We're getting there, slowly but surely. He's like, you're 1 centimeter dilated. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I leave the hospital. And as I'm walking to my car, I just feel like something's just not right. Like, I just feel awful. Like, I just feel like you feel when you're about to come on your period. Like, that's how I felt, and I haven't felt that since last year. So that was weird. So I get home, and I picked up some groceries to cook, and I started cooking. And while I was like cooking, I started feeling like these cramps, which I had not felt since 2019. And they were very, very slight, but I was just like, this is not normal. So I started to get a little excited, but also a little nervous, because I'm like, if these cramps are making me feel some kind of way, like it's only downhill from here. Like it's not getting any better. And so I'm cooking, and they're getting worse, but they're still, like fine. And they're coming sporadically. I like try to time them, but they're not really like You're done? Okay. They're not really making any progress, or they're not consistent at all. And so I have pregnancy brain, so I don't know what the fuck I'm talking. I don't know what I'm talking about, and I have to keep stopping the video so that I can like get my life together. So yeah, so they keep coming. The contractions keep coming throughout the night. And on my way to bed, I'm just like super uncomfortable. I tried bouncing on my ball. And my husband and I, we took these online classes. So I knew the different phases of labor, and I knew that because I could still talk and like, yes? You said you didn't want to eat anymore. Not with your words, but with his mind. Do you know what that's from? What's that from? Name that movie. He said it. Not with his mouth, but with his mind. This video is going to be 1,000 years long. I met a dolphin down there. So, I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, so I get in bed, and I know that if I'm in labor, I know that it's the beginning, because everything is sporadic. Things are hurting. I know they can't be Braxton Hicks, because I've had Braxton Hicks and they haven't hurt. And of course, I'm just all over Google, just looking up people's experiences, and like, I can't sleep. So I made this log on my phone. I had a contraction app, but like, I don't know. I just didn't feel like using it. I didn't feel like figuring out how to use it, even though I knew it wasn't going to be difficult. I just didn't feel like it. So I just kept track of the times that I would have contractions on my phone. And after a while, they were, at about 4 a.m., they were 20 minutes apart. So I knew the shit was getting real. So, the 12th came. I woke up that morning and I told my husband, I was just like, look, you might want to go ahead and pack your bag. My bags had already been packed because I'm responsible. My bags are already packed. And yeah, throughout the day I just started like getting my clothes ready for that day, and like getting in the shower and drinking lots of water and eating fruit, because I knew that when shit got real, I wanted to be hydrated. I knew that I didn't want to be hungry, and I didn't want to be nauseous. I know people had thrown up during labor, and I'm like, look, if this thing isn't gonna hurt as bad as people say it's gonna hurt, I am not about to be dehydrated as well. Hi. And so the day went by. So the day went by. It's the 12th. Things are getting intense. Contractions are getting like 10 minutes apart. At around 7 p.m. is when I cried for the first time from a contraction. And that's when I knew, like, okay, I don't think this is fake. I'm pretty sure this is the real deal. So I called my doctor, who wasn't available. There was another woman, Dr. Marks, which is my last name, on call that night. And so she was like, yeah, you want to come in when your contractions are like 5 minutes apart, which I had read over and over again, but I just wanted to make sure that I could come in, because I knew that if I had to come in, it was going to be the middle of the night, and I didn't want no issues. So she was like, yeah, you can come in once your contractions are 5 minutes apart, but if they're 10 minutes apart and you're in a lot of pain, we don't want you to be in a lot of pain, so you can come in. So because I live 30 minutes from the hospital, I'm just like, I don't want to be sent back home, which I know a lot of people who have been sent back home, and I couldn't imagine being in so much pain and being sent back home. And I just didn't want that. I just wanted to labor at home for as long as possible, which was always the plan. My plan was to labor at home. Even if I would have been able to go in earlier, I would have wanted to just be at home, because it's just more comfortable. And I just wanted to have that time by myself, just with Nate, my husband. So I waited until my contractions were 5 minutes apart. I started using my contraction app when they were like 8 minutes apart, and they were coming, man. And I was asking my husband to do counter pressure, which is like pressing on my back when the contraction hits to kind of counter the pressure of the contraction. And I don't know, man. It just wasn't. It was working, but it was just like it was just everything was getting really bad. I just know we ordered food because I knew that I had to eat something, and I definitely wasn't about to cook anything. My husband wasn't really trying to cook anything either. And so we ordered something, and when the food got here, like my food, it just wasn't in the bag, which was so, that was like the worst possible thing that could have ever happened. So I cried for that food, and I was so angry, and I was ready to like cuss out DoorDash. And then I found out that I didn't actually I didn't add it to the order. I didn't add my food to the order, and I was just really angry. And so I had to like order something else. And so I'm like waiting for this food, and I'm like taking a shower, and I'm getting dressed. And the shower, once I got in the shower and like the contractions didn't stop, that's when I knew. I was like, I think I'm gonna be having this baby tonight. Throughout the day, earlier in the day, we were given some face paint by my best friend Gio, and Nate had painted like this warrior face on me. I don't know what to call it. I was an airbender, I know that. And I really needed to wash it off my face because I had just kind of been like walking around all day looking crazy with this paint on my face. And I was like, I really don't want to have to rush into the hospital with this paint on my face, because I have had things like that happen to me all the time. So I definitely had to handle that. So once my contractions were 5 minutes apart, which came around 10 p.m., I was like, we gotta go. It's time. And I just felt it. Like, I just knew. I knew I wasn't gonna get sent back home. I just knew that it was time. And so we got in the car, and I don't know, it's just such a weird feeling. So we get to the hospital, and they tell you, make sure you know how to get to where you're having your baby before you get there, which, like, I didn't do it. I just didn't. So I went to the place where my appointments were, which is not where I was delivering my baby, which, like, I knew that. And I don't know. On the car ride there, like, I was pretty, I was managing pretty well. But once we got to the hospital, I was just really trying to keep it together until we got into the place that we were going to be. And so we literally were running around the hospital for a while. We went to the place where my appointments were, that was closed. And then we walked all the way to the emergency room, which was like an 8-minute walk from where we parked. And when we got to the emergency room, they were like, you're gonna be having your baby on the other side of the fucking hospital. And so I'm just like, damn, this is too much. And so I just sat there with all the bags while Nate went to get the car, because we had to drive over to where I would be having the baby at. So Nate like runs against the car. I'm like waiting outside of the emergency room, like having contractions. I didn't want to sit on anything because it's COVID, and I just didn't, germs. And so I'm like standing, and I'm like really trying to keep it together. Nate pulls up with the car. We get back in the car. And by the time I sit back in the car, I just really feel like I have to shit. And because I've done lots of research, I know that that means that this little girl is on her way. So I'm literally just like, I just know within the next few hours, she's coming. Like, she's coming. So I'm sitting there, and it's just like, like, I'm literally just like, my body is just pushing down on itself. And I just know it's her. I know that it's her. We pull up to the Carmano Center, which is where I was having the baby, which would be a natural birth. I think that's the first time that I said that. I had always planned for this to be a natural birth. We get in there, and they're super calm. I'm super calm. Listen, because I'm a black woman. Black women are superheroes. And, we be being strong even when we don't need to be. I don't know. We just can't help it. So I walk in all cool, calm, and collected, right? I'm, like, in a lot of pain, but I don't know. Can't help it. I walk in, cool, calm, and collected. I walk up to the desk, and they're like, what's your name? And I'm like, I'm Asia, blah, 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 blah. And they're just like, well, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm in labor. And I said it like she was supposed to know that or some shit. But, yeah. So I'm like, I'm in labor, so we need to, like, make this happen. So they're like, you can go wait in the waiting room and we'll call you back in a little bit. So I'm just like, yo, I know what this is. Like, I labored at home. I have never done this before, but I know my body is trying to push a baby out right now. Like, let's get this going. So we go into the lobby, and I'm trying to keep it together because there's this other man in the lobby. He's there without his person, and I don't want to freak him out. I don't know why it feels like, I mean, that's a place where people have babies, but I don't know. There's just this feeling of like, if I'm screaming, other people are going to be like overwhelmed, which like, who gives a fuck? Now that I've like been through the whole process, who cares? How considerate of me to not want to freak anyone else out. So nice. But we're sitting in the lobby and they come in to get me after like, I don't know, felt like 20 minutes. I don't know how long it actually was. But they came and they were like, yeah, we're going to take Asia back. And Nate, you stay here and we'll come back and get you. Which, like, I was not trying to be separated from him because we haven't been separated for a few days at that point. And I just wasn't ready for that. But whatever. You know, I get it together. We go to the back to triage. And there are other ladies back there. And everything is just separated by curtains or whatever. And they're like, yeah, we're going to check your cervix and see how far along you are. I don't know. At this point, like, everybody's talking and saying things to me, but things are getting really intense. Like, things are getting really, really intense. And I hear that there are these other women in the room with me. And they're talking and they're calm. And because I learned about the stages of labor, I know that they are not in active labor like I am transitioning into. And so I, again, didn't want to freak them out, so I'm trying to keep it together. I'm trying not to scream, but these contractions are just, they are coming, and they are fast, furious, and ferocious. Fast, furious, and ferocious contractions. That's a song. I don't know where it came from. They just come. And so, yeah, so people are saying things to me. And they're leaving the little area. They're coming back. All I know is I'm in a lot of pain, right? I'm sitting on the thing. Like, it hurts to sit down. Eventually, they check my cervix, and they're like, you're 6 centimeters dilated, but we're also going to do an ultrasound. And I'm just like, here's the thing, y'all. Like, y'all just need to send me to the back because you're not going to send me home because I'm gonna have this baby within the next like hour. So like, please, like, let's just get this moving. Everything is moving. It's not moving slow, but it's moving too slow for me. I know I'm talking so much, right? I think you like it though. It's okay. All right, and so then I have to pee, which, like, to have to go pee when you're going through contractions is just like, why, God? Like, why? Why me? Why? And so I go pee, and this is after they told Nate that he can come back. So Nate's back there with me. I go pee. I'm in the bathroom, like, having these terrible contractions, and I'm just, like, trying to keep it together. Nate also has to pee, and so, like, I'm waiting for him to finish peeing. I look at myself in the mirror for the first time in hours, and I'm just like, look, motherfucker, it's about to go down. Like, it's going down, but it's really about to go down. So, like, just be ready. And so I shuffle my ass back over into the triage area, and the worst possible thing they could say, they said to me. They said, we're gonna go ahead and give you a COVID test. So I'm like, bitch, when did we talk about this? Like, who said, like, who said that I had to get a COVID test? Like, nobody ever mentioned that I was gonna have to get a COVID test. So I had seen videos of people getting COVID tests, and I just knew I didn't want any parts. And so they did it. They were about to do it, and I was like, no, like, y'all need to wait. I'm about to have a contraction. At this point, my contractions are like 4 minutes apart. So I have the contraction, and then she's like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. And the way that she was bracing me for it, that's how I knew this is not about to be good. This is not about to be good. So she sticks the thing up my nose, but like, then she sticks it up even more, and it's like a sharp ass needle. Like literally a needle. Like I can't explain it any other way. I thought it was supposed to be a cotton swab, and it was not. It was a fucking needle, and it was the worst possible thing that I could have ever felt. And I was going through contractions. That was fucked up. So she's in there for a good 5 seconds, which is a long time for somebody to be violating your fucking nostrils. I'm cussing a lot. I really hope that, I don't know if I have to bleep these out. I don't know. And she'll be, listen, she'll be fine. For those who think I shouldn't be cussing in front of my newborn, she will be okay. So, they do the COVID test, and I let out my first official scream. And I'm like, ah! And at that moment, I got my sense of humor back. I didn't, but I did, because I felt like I sounded just like a Scooby-Doo ghost. And if you watch Scooby-Doo, you know that those ghosts on Scooby-Doo be like, oh, oh, and that's literally how I sounded. And I really wanted to laugh about it, but like, no, later. I'm like, we'll laugh about this later at another time. But it was like, wow, I didn't even know if that was me screaming. I swear I did not. Like, it was really crazy. So I'm like weeping from this pain. And she's just like apologizing to the nurse. She's just like, I'm so sorry. And I'm pissed. I'm just like, you know, I hate everybody. Like, everybody sucks. And in that same moment too, like, I hear another nurse talking to one of the other ladies in triage, and she's just like, yeah, so we'll go ahead and order that epidural for you, and we'll get that ready. And like, when you've decided to have a natural birth, and you are going through the contractions, and you hear a nurse offer someone else an epidural, you're gonna be pissed. Like, and I know, like, I could have changed my mind. I'm aware that I could have changed my mind. But it was a decision that I had made, and it was something that I had always thought that I was gonna do unless I absolutely needed to get an epidural. But I was just like, I hate everybody. Like, I was just really hating everybody at that point. And then they were like, we're gonna wait 45 minutes for your COVID test to come back before we send you back. And I'm just like, I don't have 45 minutes. Like, I just don't. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you guys want from me, but I can't wait 45 minutes. I just cannot. And so they leave, and me and Nate are back there. I'm getting like chills just thinking about it. So then they came back, and they were like, we're gonna send you back there. We're not gonna wait for your test because you seem like you're in a lot of pain. Should we get you a robe? I'm like, I brought my own, or gown. I brought my own gown because I wanted to be comfortable and cute. So I brought my own gown, and I put my gown on, and I put my high shoes on. And she was like, do you want a wheelchair so we can wheel you over to the room? And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna walk. I don't need any changes happening to me right now. I just need to just walk over there. So we walk over there, and I'm just having contractions all along the way, like stopping in the hallway, and it's just a lot. So I get into the room, and it's beautiful. I mean, it is just absolutely beautiful. And despite the contractions, I did have the energy to appreciate how beautiful the room. But like, I stripped my clothes off immediately because I'm like, the tub. I've been thinking about the tub since I decided to go to Beaumont at the Carmano Center, or shit, have a baby. I've always wanted to have a water birth. You can't have a water birth there. You can labor in the tub, but whatever. So I stripped my clothes off. Nate runs me a bath, and I'm thinking this is about to be the best thing since sliced bread, but it was not. I get into the tub, and my body goes completely relaxed, which means not even necessarily that I feel it more, because shit, even if you're tense, you're gonna feel it more. I don't know. I get in there, and everything was just like double trouble. Everything was just like, everything felt terrible. It was so painful, and it just sucked because I wanted it to feel good so bad, but it just did not. And I'm just like flapping in the water. My feet are flapping, my hands are flapping. I'm just trying to hold it together. I'm trying to breathe, and I'm not doing a good job. I'm just not. And She's so cute. She's so cute, and every time I look at her, I just get carried away. Into another world. My little baby. I can't. She looked at me earlier. She was like, who is this person with this? She doesn't know what makeup is yet, but she was like, girl, you've been looking busted this whole time and I didn't even know. And so I'm in the tub. Postpartum brain is worse than pregnancy brain. I don't know what I'm talking about. Why am I even on this video? So I'm in the tub and I'm flapping around. And the nurse is like, you know, your contractions are getting closer and closer together. Let's get you out of the tub. At this point, I'm screaming. I'm screaming. I'm trying to keep it together. But it just hurts. It hurts. It hurts worse than anything I've ever felt in my life, obviously. And she's, you know, I feel like I have to I'm like pushing her out at this point. Like my body is trying to get her out. So I go over to the bed and the nurse is like getting things ready and like they're adjusting the lights and Nate's turning on the music and I'm appreciating the vibes. Like I'm really feeling it. But it was still a lot. And so I'm on the bed and shit's getting real. Shit's getting real. The nurse is like rubbing on my back. Nate's rubbing on my back. I'm just like crying. Not crying. I wasn't even crying. I was just screaming at that point. I was really trying to keep it together. I was trying to hold it together. I just really couldn't. I just couldn't. I was trying so hard. And then the nurse goes, okay, let's go ahead and get the doctor because I think it's time for you to push. So she goes to get the doctor and the doctor is in there for a few minutes and they're like moving me around, trying to get me as comfortable as possible. And then the doctor's just like, all right, we're going to bring you down here because we're going to go ahead and start pushing. And I had only been in the room no more than 30 minutes. My doula walks in as we're about to push and I'm really grateful that she's there. So she's holding one leg, Nate's holding the other leg. The nurse is there just looking into my eyes and the doctor is there and she's like telling me what I need to do to bear down. And so at 2 a.m. I start pushing. And honestly, the pushing, the pushing and the contractions are, I don't know. The pushing for some reason, it just isn't, it's like you're actively doing something, so it's not as bad as like experiencing the contractions by themselves. It's a different kind of bad. And when I say bad, I don't know. I'm whatever, fuck it. It was bad. Because my little baby needs some air. She's so cute. Oh my god. Boop. Okay. So I'm pushing. And she's like, one push, they're like cheerleaders. Like they are, these 4 people standing over me are killing the game, cheering me on. And I'm just looking into Nate's eyes, just like, this is crazy. Like literally, what is this pain? Like why is this happening? And Nate's looking back at me, and I found out later that he was telling me, like, if you want to get the epidural, like, it's fine. He was just saying that to me. It's crazy. Like, this part is kind of a blur. It's not a blur, but I don't know. I guess it's kind of hard to, like, verbalize it. But, she would tell me to push once, right? So then I would push. And she says, push again. So I would push. Push again. I push with all of my might. But then she would tell me to push again. Now that 4th push was really pushing it. Cause it was just like, I don't have anything left. Like there's no more. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean push again? What do you mean there's nothing left? And there are so many people that told me going into this process, when you feel that you have nothing left, know that you do. And like that is the most epic like advice in life, like just period, because like you really have more. Like you have more when you feel like you don't have anything left. You have more. And I've been in really fucked up situations in life where like I thought I didn't have anything left, and I did. And so I was really just like pulling from that strength. Like I knew that I had it. I knew that I had it. Despite what my body was telling me, I just knew. And so I started saying out loud, I'm like, you got this. You can do this. You got this. Like I'm gearing myself up because I just know, because she has to come out. And the longer that I fight it, the longer I'm going to be sitting there. I'm like, bitch, let's go. Like, let's fucking go. So I'm like gearing myself the fuck up. We're getting ready. I'm calling on my ancestors. I'm calling everybody. I'm literally just like, let's do this. Let's do it, and let's do it quick, because like I ain't got time. And so I'm sitting there, and we go through like 6 rounds of push once, push twice, push 3 times, and then push that 4th time. And it was just like I was getting so tired. Like I have never felt exhaustion like that in my life, and I don't know that I ever will again. And like being up with her at night, I have felt like this exhaustion of like I'm literally falling asleep standing up. But like that was like, whew, boy. So I told him, I was like, I was like, y'all, I gotta rest. I said, I can't do this right now. I literally was just like, I can't do this right now. Like, can we turn me on my side? Because I just can't. Like, let's try it another way. Like, I just can't do this. So they turn me on my side, and they get the peanut thing with my leg. Like, I can't kick my leg up. I'm in too much pain. But my leg is like up. There's a peanut ball. If you want to know what that is, look it up. I don't have time to explain it. It's a peanut, but it's a ball. And it goes in between your legs. And so they're trying to get me to push from that angle, and it's just not working. And I'm getting discouraged because I wasn't sure if every push was, like, I thought that each time that I did the 4 pushes, that she was going to come on that 4th time. I just knew it. I'm like, she's coming on this time. And once they were done with, like, that 4th push and she wasn't out, I was just so discouraged. I'm just like, well, how many more times are we going to have to do that? I'm so sorry. So I'm like, how many times are we going to have to do this? And I wasn't sure if like each time that I did the set of 4 that would be like helping the next 4, or if it was just like, that was good practice, let's try again. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know if each time she would be closer to coming out. I was just feeling overwhelmed. I was just so freaking done, to the point where I just knew, I'm like, I have to be the one to get her out. Nobody else is going to get her out. I was screaming at this point, and the nurse, she just turns to me and she says, AJ, I need you to take all that energy with you screaming, and I need you to just put it in your pushes. Like, just put it in your pushes. And so I did. I started just putting it in my pushes as much as I can, no matter how bad it hurt. I just knew, like, I have to do this. And so we get to a push. We get these really, really good pushes in, like, and then I start to feel the ring of fire. And let me tell you, that's some shit. Some shit. I knew it was gonna be some shit because I looked it up. And I read about it, and people talk about it. Not enough, but there's a ring of fire. What that means is once that head starts to come through your vagina, it burns. Ooh, it burns, baby. It burns, let it burn when you're feeling it the same. Yeah. It burns. And people need to be more fucking transparent about that shit. But no, it burns. And I was sitting there feeling that burn. And it was scary. It was scary. And one of the things that I really didn't want to do was tear my vagina. It happens to a lot of people. And I didn't want that to be me. So I was scared. I didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it. And the nurse was like, Asia, you have to not be afraid. She said, it's gonna burn. You're gonna feel it. You gotta push into it. You gotta do it. And it was one of those things where, why I think it only took 26 minutes for me to push her out is because it was burning so bad. I'm the kind of person, I'm like, look, this, I'm not about to prolong this hurt. I'm gonna let it burn right now and make that shit count. I'm like, I'm not about to let this shit burn for that long. I'm not doing it. I'm about to give it everything every fucking thing that I have right now so that I can be done. So that I can be absolutely done. And so I was feeling the burn, and I was looking into that nurse's eyes, and she was looking into my eyes, and she did not break eye contact. And I was literally just like giving it everything. I looked at Nate, I'm just like burning a hole into his eyes. I look at the doctor, and everybody's like keeping eye contact with me, which is great, because I don't know if they would have looked away. I don't know if I would have been like freaked out. I don't really know. But I know that I pushed with all of my might, and at 2:26, my little pumpkin came out. She came out. It's crazy because when I felt her come out, but I did kind of go to a place. You have to kind of go to a place to like get through that moment. I didn't mean to go to a place. You just do. You just go to a place. And so I just heard some crying, and they were like, "Here's your baby. Hold your baby. Hold your baby." And they were all cheering like as she was coming, but I was like, I was there, but I was like in another world. And they just plopped this slimy, beautiful little baby down on me. And they were like, hold your baby, look at your baby, look at your baby. And it didn't like really occur to me until they said, look at your baby, that I had just pushed out a baby. And they put her on my chest. And I was just like, oh my God. Like I just kept saying, oh my God, 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 oh my God. Like, damn. I did that. And then they were like, let's birth the placenta. I'm so sorry. When they said let's birth the placenta, that is literally how I felt. This laugh and this cry mixed together, that's how I felt when they said we're gonna birth the placenta, because I knew that I had to do that. But that's, you don't remember that you had, oh, I'm so sorry. You don't remember that you have to do that until you're in it. And so they pressed down on my super sensitive stomach. I know, I'm sorry. Your mommy's a little high strung. I'm so sorry. So yeah, they pushed down on my stomach and they reached inside. Things were happening. And eventually I birthed the placenta. It was not as bad, but it was still like intense. And then they were like, you tore, so we're gonna go ahead and sew you up, which was great. It was great. And so she's like, the doctor's like explaining to me exactly how I tore, where I tore, and how she's gonna sew me up. And I just want to say, you can shut up, because I don't want to know. I don't need to know any of that. I don't need to know. Like, literally, just do it. Like, just do it. And, like, let's just be done. And so she's like, we're going to put a little numbing spray. You're not really going to feel it, but you're going to feel a little pressure. Bitch, I felt them sewing up my vagina. I felt it. And it was a lot. It was a lot. It wasn't necessarily painful, but it's like I got my new baby on my chest. Someone is sewing up my vagina. I just birthed a baby, a placenta. things are happening. People are asking me questions, and it was a lot. And things have been nonstop since then. But it was great. It was such an experience. I'm so sorry. I got excited because it was that crazy. I'm so sorry. I have my placenta in my freezer. I'm gonna bury it. I don't know where yet. Probably in my childhood backyard, but I don't really know. I'll figure it out later. I'm exhausted from telling that story. And she's exhausted from listening because it has been 44 minutes. I'm going to cut this, but it has been 44 minutes. And she has sat through it all like a little trooper. Yes, you did. Yeah, that's my birth story. And I did it all naturally. And it was hard, but it was very rewarding. I'm having dreams now where people are like, time for you to have a baby. And I'm just like, but I think I did that already. And they're like, nope. Those are called nightmares. Those are nightmares. But yeah, that's my story. I'm gonna go because I am exhausted. And I'm so sorry that you got startled. I'm sorry that I startled you. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's that.